Lily Grant pressed her face against the window of the transport shuttle. Stars stretched in every direction, more than she had ever seen from Earth. Her stomach twisted with nervousness as the massive shape of Galactic Academy Station Harmony grew larger ahead. The station looked like a giant wheel spinning slowly in space, with lights twinkling from thousands of windows. "First time away from home?" asked the pilot, a friendly woman with blue skin and 3 eyes. Lily nodded. She was 12 years old and about to become one of only 3 human students at an academy, with 800 aliens. Her parents had been so proud when she got accepted. Her mother had cried. Her father, who worked on a military ship far away, had sent her a long video message telling her how brave she was. Right now, Lily did not feel brave at all. The shuttle docked with a soft thump. Lily grabbed her bag and followed other students through the airlock. The corridor beyond was huge, with ceilings 3 times taller than necessary. Everything was built to fit different species, some small like her, others massive. A group of students walked past her. One of them had 4 arms and stood almost 7 feet tall. His skin was rough and gray like stone. He glanced down at Lily and whispered something to his friends. They all laughed. Lily pretended not to notice and kept walking. The academy directory led her to the residential section. Her room was small but clean, with a bed, a desk, and a window showing the planet Deepwater below. The world was covered in oceans with only a few small islands. Lily unpacked her things slowly, trying not to think about how far from home she was. A chime sounded at her door. "Come in," Lily called. The door slid open and Instructor Falls Like Rain entered. She was an Aquarian, tall and elegant, with pale green skin that seemed to shimmer. Her large eyes were kind. "Welcome to Harmony Station, Lily Grant," the instructor said. "I wanted to check on you before classes begin tomorrow. Do you have everything you need?" "Yes, thank you," Lily replied quietly. "I know this must be difficult," Falls Like Rain continued. "Humans are still new to our galactic community. Only 15 years since your people discovered faster than light travel. But you belong here just as much as anyone else. Remember that?" Lily nodded, but she was not sure she believed it. The next morning, Lily found her way to the physical education class. The gym was enormous, with different sections for different types of exercise. Some areas had high gravity, others had low gravity or even no gravity at all. About 30 students were gathered near the center. Lily recognized the 4-armed student from yesterday. He saw her and smirked. "Attention, everyone," Falls Like Rain called out. "Today we will be testing your strength and endurance. Please proceed to your species-appropriate stations." Lily walked to the humans section, which was marked for low-gravity species. There was special equipment designed for beings who came from lighter worlds. She felt relieved until she noticed the other students watching her. "Is that a human?" one student whispered loudly. She had crystalline skin that sparkled under the lights. "I heard they come from a weak planet," another student replied. "No natural armor, no claws, nothing special at all." "Then why are they here?" the crystalline student asked. The 4-armed student, whose name was Bracken, walked over. "Good question, Whisper. Why are humans here? Charity case?" Lily's face burned red, but she focused on the equipment in front of her. It was a lifting machine designed to test strength. She set it to the recommended level for humans and began her exercise. Bracken laughed. "Look at that weight setting. My little sister could lift more." Several students gathered to watch. Lily tried to ignore them, but her hands shook. She completed her sets as quickly as possible, then moved to the endurance test. It was a running track with adjustable gravity. "Instructor," Bracken called out, "can we watch the human run? I have never seen one move before." Falls Like Rain frowned. "Bracken, focus on your own training." But the damage was done. Every student in the gym was now watching Lily. She stepped onto the track and started running. The gravity was set correctly for her, but she felt clumsy and slow compared to how the other students moved. Bracken jogged alongside the track easily, keeping pace with her without any effort. "This is the species that thinks they can learn alongside us," he said loudly. "They can barely move." Whisper, the crystalline student, closed her eyes. A moment later, Lily felt a strange pressure in her head. It was not painful, just uncomfortable. Then she heard Whisper's voice, but not with her ears. It was inside her mind, so fragile, so weak. They accepted humans because they felt sorry for them. Lily stumbled and almost fell. The telepathic voice faded, and she heard Whisper laughing with her friends. For the rest of the class, Lily stayed quiet and tried to be invisible. When the session finally ended, she walked quickly back to her room. Once inside, she sat on her bed and felt tears burning in her eyes. She pulled out her communication device and typed a message to her father. "Hi, Dad. I arrived safely. The academy is amazing. Everything is going well. I miss you. Love, Lily." She deleted the message and started again. "Hi, Dad, I miss you." She sent it before she could delete it again. That evening, Lily went to the cafeteria for dinner. The room was massive and filled with hundreds of students. Different sections served food for different species. Lily got her meal from the human-compatible section and looked for a place to sit. Every table was full. Well, not full exactly, but every time Lily approached, students would suddenly spread out, taking up all the empty seats. Finally, she found a small table in the corner and sat alone. From across the room, she could hear Bracken's loud voice. "Did you see the human today? I thought deathworlders were supposed to be tough. Earth is supposed to be dangerous, but that girl looked like she would break if you breathed on her too hard." His friends laughed. Whisper's voice joined in. "Maybe the stories about Earth are exaggerated. Maybe it is not really a death world at all. Maybe humans just like to pretend they are special." Lily ate her food quickly and returned to her room. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering if coming here had been a terrible mistake. Her communication device blinked with a new message, but it was not from her father. The reply time was too soon. It was an automatic response saying her message had been received and a reply would come when possible. Her father was too far away. The signal delay was at least 3 days. Lily closed her eyes and tried to sleep, but all she could hear were the voices laughing at her, telling her she did not belong. 3 weeks had passed since Lily arrived at Harmony Station, and each day was harder than the last. She sat in her mathematics class trying to focus on the holographic equations floating in the air. The teacher, a small insect-like being named Instructor Chirp, was explaining advanced physics. Lily understood the concepts well enough, but the problem was different. Whisper sat 2 rows behind her. Every few minutes, Lily felt that uncomfortable pressure in her head, followed by telepathic whispers. "The human is too stupid to understand. She does not belong in advanced classes. Why do we have to slow down for her?" The worst part was that Whisper made sure other telepathic students heard these thoughts too. Soon 5 or 6 students were sharing the same cruel ideas, bouncing them between their minds like a game. Lily could not block them out. Humans had no telepathic abilities at all. She raised her hand. "Instructor Chirp, may I be excused?" The teacher's antennae twitched with concern. "Are you unwell?" "Just a headache," Lily lied. In the bathroom, she splashed water on her face and took deep breaths. When she returned to her quarters later, she found her door already open. Her stomach dropped. Inside, her belongings were scattered everywhere. Her clothes were torn. Her books were thrown around the room. Her photos from Earth, the ones of her parents and her little brother, were ripped into pieces. On her desk, someone had used a marker to write, "Go home, weakling." Lily stood frozen in the doorway. She wanted to scream, to cry, to call for help. Instead, she just started cleaning. She picked up the pieces of her photos and tried to tape them back together. Her hands shook so badly she could barely hold the tape. A chime sounded at her door. Lily quickly wiped her eyes. One of the other human students, a boy named Peter, stood in the hallway. He looked nervous. "I heard what happened," he said quietly. "I am sorry. Did you see who did it?" Lily asked. Peter shook his head. "No, but everyone knows it is Bracken and his friends. They have been targeting you since you arrived. Will you tell the instructors what you know?" Peter looked down at his feet. "I cannot. If I do, they will come after me next. There are only 3 of us humans here, Lily. We have to be careful." He left before Lily could respond. She reported the incident to station security. A bored-looking officer took her statement and said they would investigate. But without witnesses or evidence, there was nothing they could do. That night, Lily sent another message to her father. This time she told him the truth about everything. The bullying, the telepathic harassment, the destroyed belongings. She cried while typing it, not caring that her tears fell on the keyboard. The next day in zero-gravity navigation class, students practiced using thruster packs to move through the training sphere. It was a huge empty room where gravity could be turned off. Lily put on her thruster pack and checked the controls like she had been taught. "Begin exercise," the instructor announced. Lily activated her pack and pushed off gently. She drifted forward, adjusting her direction with small bursts from the thrusters. Other students zoomed around her, some moving incredibly fast with perfect control. Then her pack sputtered. The thrusters fired randomly, spinning her in wild circles. Lily grabbed for the emergency shutoff, but the button did not work. She tumbled faster and faster, crashing into walls and other students. "Help!" she shouted, but her voice was lost in the noise of the exercise. Finally, the instructor noticed and activated the gravity. Lily fell hard to the floor. Her arm throbbed with pain and her head was spinning. The instructor helped her up and examined her thruster pack. "This has been tampered with," the instructor said, her voice sharp with anger. "Someone disconnected the safety systems." "Who did this?" Every student looked at each other. No one spoke. "I asked a question," the instructor repeated. "This is extremely dangerous. Someone could have been killed." Still silence. The instructor escorted Lily to the medical bay. The doctor, a gentle being covered in soft fur, healed her bruises and checked for serious injuries. She was lucky. Nothing was broken. But Lily knew the luck would not last forever. Back in her quarters that evening, she found a new message on her communication device. It was from Bracken. "Tomorrow noon, main gymnasium. You will complete the endurance course or you will leave this academy. Everyone will be watching. Time to prove humans actually belong here or admit you are too weak." Lily's hands trembled as she read it. The endurance course was designed for advanced students. It tested strength, speed, resilience, and pain tolerance. The course adjusted to each species, but even then, it was brutally difficult. Students trained for months before attempting it. She had been at the academy for 3 weeks. If she refused, everyone would call her a coward. Bracken would make sure the story spread to every corner of the station. The other human students would be harassed even more because of her. If she accepted, she would probably fail. The course might even injure her badly. Lily sat on her bed staring at the message. Finally, she typed a reply. "I will be there." She sent another message to her father, longer this time. She told him about the challenge. She told him she was scared, but she had to try. She told him she loved him and she wished he was there. Then she spent the rest of the night reading everything she could find about the endurance course. The next morning felt strange. Other students stared at her in the hallways. Word had spread fast. By lunchtime, it seemed like the entire academy knew about the challenge. Lily walked to the gymnasium with her heart pounding. The doors opened to reveal hundreds of students. They filled the observation areas above the course, all watching her. Some looked excited, others looked curious. A few looked sorry for her. Bracken stood near the starting line with Whisper and his other friends. He grinned when he saw her. "I did not think you would actually come," he said. "Humans are supposed to be cowards." "I am here," Lily said, trying to keep her voice steady. Instructor Falls Like Rain approached. "Lily, you do not have to do this. This course is not meant for first-year students." "I know," Lily replied. "But if I do not do it, nothing will change." The instructor looked sad but nodded. She walked Lily to the starting line and explained the course one more time. There would be 6 sections: acid rain simulation, high-gravity running, pressure chamber, combat drones, climbing wall, and final sprint. "The course will adjust to human parameters," Falls Like Rain said, "but it will still be very difficult. If you need to stop, just press your emergency beacon. We will pull you out immediately." Lily nodded and stepped up to the line. The entire gymnasium fell silent. A buzzer sounded. Lily ran forward into the first section. Immediately, liquid started spraying from above. It was not real acid, but it stung her skin and burned her eyes. She kept running, trying to see through the pain. From the observation area, she heard Bracken's voice. "Look at her. She can barely handle the first section." Lily reached the second section, and the gravity suddenly increased. Each step felt like she was carrying twice her weight. Her legs screamed with effort. She pushed forward, but her pace slowed to a crawl. "This is embarrassing," someone shouted. "She should quit now." The third section was the pressure chamber. The air became thick and heavy, making it hard to breathe. Lily's lungs burned. She could feel her heartbeat in her ears. The walls seemed to close in around her. She fell to her knees. The crowd's noise grew louder, a mix of laughter and cruel comments. Medical staff stood nearby, ready to pull her out. But Lily looked up at the next section of the course. She thought about her father, somewhere far away among the stars. She thought about her mother and brother back on Earth. She stood up. The pressure chamber released her into the fourth section. 3 combat drones activated, moving toward her. They were set to human difficulty, but Lily was already exhausted. The first drone fired a stun blast. She dodged barely. Then suddenly alarms blared throughout the entire station. Red lights flashed. The endurance course automatically shut down, and the combat drones powered off. An automated voice filled the gymnasium. Emergency protocol activated. Unknown vessel approaching station. All students returned to quarters immediately. The crowd erupted into confused chatter. Instructor Falls like rain touched her communication device, listening to something. Her eyes widened. "Everyone, stay calm," she announced. "We have a situation. A military ship just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. It is approaching the station at high speed." Lily stood in the middle of the course, forgotten now. She was covered in sweat, her clothes stained from the acid simulation, her body aching. But none of that mattered anymore. Something was happening. Something big. Students crowded against the windows of Harmony Station, pressing their faces to the transparent walls to see what was happening outside. Lily pushed through the crowd, still breathing hard from the interrupted endurance course. In the distance, she saw it. A ship hung in space, dark and angular like a knife. It was smaller than most of the massive alien vessels she had seen, but something about it looked dangerous. The hull was painted in dark gray, and along its side she could just barely read the letters. TCS Defiant. "That is a human ship," Whisper said, her crystalline face pressed against the window. "But why is it here? Military vessels are not allowed near the academy." Bracken crossed his forearms. "Probably lost. Humans are new to space. They probably do not know the rules yet." But Lily's heart was beating fast for a different reason. She knew that ship class. Her father had shown her pictures. It was a Harbinger-class destroyer, one of the most powerful ships in the Terran fleet. Throughout the station, speakers crackled to life with an announcement. "Attention. This is Captain Reefwalker, Chief of Station Security. We have an unauthorized military vessel in our space. All students must return to quarters immediately." This is not a drill. The crowd started moving, some students nervous, others excited by the unusual event. Lily stayed at the window watching the ship. It was not moving closer, just hanging there in space like it was waiting for something. In the station's security center, Captain Reefwalker stared at his screens with growing concern. The human ship had appeared without warning, its faster-than-light jump bringing it dangerously close to the station. His officers scrambled to assess the situation. "Hail them," Reefwalker ordered. "Demand they identify their purpose." A communications officer worked the controls. After a moment, a voice came through the speakers. It was calm, human, and male. "This is Commander David Grant of the Terran colonial ship Defiant. I am requesting immediate docking permission and clearance to come aboard your station." Reefwalker leaned forward. "Commander Grant, this is Captain Reefwalker. You are in violation of the Treaty of Deepwater. No military vessels are permitted within 50,000 kilometers of this academy. You must withdraw immediately." There was a pause. When the human spoke again, his voice was quieter but somehow more intense. "Captain, I received emergency messages from my daughter. She is a student on your station. I am here to see her. I am coming aboard, with or without your permission." Reefwalker felt his gills flutter with alarm. "Commander, if you attempt unauthorized boarding, we will be forced to respond. We have defensive systems." "I know exactly what defensive systems you have, Captain," Grant replied. "I also know they would not stop this ship. But I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm here for my daughter. Please, just let me dock." One of Reefwalker's officers whispered urgently, "Sir, our sensors are reading something strange. That ship's weapons are active, and its shield generators are fluctuating in a pattern I have never seen before." Another officer added, "Sir, I am reading the ship's classification. Harbinger-class destroyers are rated for fleet combat. Its weapons could destroy this entire station." Reefwalker felt a cold sensation run through his body. He opened a channel to the Academy director. "Director Stone Who Stands, we have a situation." In her office, Director Stone Who Stands listened to the report. She was an elder Tolarian, the same species as Bracken, and she had run the Academy for 40 years. She had dealt with many difficult situations, but never with a human warship making demands. "Contact Earth's government," she ordered. "Verify this Commander Grant's identity and authority. And prepare a security team just in case." 20 minutes later, the response came back from Earth. Commander David Grant was exactly who he claimed to be. He was a decorated officer who had served for 15 years. He was currently on active duty aboard the Defiant, which was on patrol near the galactic border. According to Earth's military command, Grant had taken emergency leave to check on his daughter. They say he is within his rights as a parent, the communications officer reported, but Earth's government is very apologetic. They say Grant was supposed to request permission properly, not just show up. Director Stone Who Stands made her decision. Grant him docking permission. But I want a full security escort, and someone find his daughter. Lily Grant, bring her to the medical bay. In her quarters, Lily had been pacing back and forth, unable to sit still. When 2 security officers appeared at her door, her stomach dropped. Am I in trouble? She asked. One of the officers, a kind-looking being with fur, smiled gently. No, young one. Your father is here. He wants to see you. Lily's eyes went wide. My father? But he is supposed to be months away. How? Come with us, the officer said. He is docking now. They led her through the corridors toward the docking area. Other students watched as she passed, whispering to each other. Word was already spreading that the military ship was here because of the human girl. Bracken saw her walking past with the security escort. Look at that. The weak human had to call her daddy to protect her. Pathetic. Whisper laughed, but it sounded nervous. A whole warship for one crying girl. Humans are so dramatic, Lily ignored them. Her mind was spinning. Her father was here. Actually here. She had sent those messages, but she never expected this. The signal delay alone should have meant he would not get them for days. At the docking bay, she saw Captain Reefwalker and several other officers standing in formation. The airlock was cycling, showing that a ship had connected. Everyone stood tense, waiting. The airlock doors opened. Commander David Grant stepped through. He was tall for a human, wearing a dark uniform with various insignia on his chest. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp, taking in everything around him. When he saw Lily, his expression softened. Hi, sweetheart, he said quietly. Lily ran to him. He caught her in a tight hug, and she felt something break inside her. All the fear and loneliness and pain from the past 3 weeks came pouring out. She sobbed into his chest while he held her, one hand stroking her hair. It is okay, he murmured. I am here now. You're safe. Captain Reefwalker approached cautiously. Commander Grant, welcome to Harmony Station. Though I wish the circumstances were different, Grant looked up, his eyes hard. So do I, Captain. Perhaps we should speak in private, Reefwalker suggested. Discuss the situation. First, I want to see my daughter's injuries, Grant said. I was told she was in your medical bay earlier today. Something about a training accident. He said the word accident in a way that made it clear he did not believe it was an accident at all. They walked together to the medical bay, Lily holding her father's hand the entire way. The doctor who had treated her earlier came forward and showed Grant the medical reports. His jaw tightened as he read about the sabotaged thruster pack, the injuries from the endurance course, and all the other small injuries Lily had received over the past weeks. And the student responsible for the sabotage? Grant asked quietly. We have no proof, the doctor admitted. No witnesses came forward. Grant looked down at Lily. Tell me what happened. All of it, so Lily did. She told him about Bracken and Whisper, about the bullying, the telepathic harassment, the destroyed belongings, about being forced to attempt the endurance course or be labeled a coward. Her voice shook as she spoke, but she got through it all. When she finished, Grant was silent for a long moment. His face showed no emotion, but Lily could see his hands clenched into fists. I want to meet these students, he said finally, and I want to speak with the director of this academy. Captain Reefwalker nodded. I will arrange it. But, Commander, please understand we have rules here. Procedures. We cannot simply punish students without proper evidence. I understand procedures, Captain, Grant replied. I live by procedures, but I also understand that my daughter was tortured for 3 weeks while those procedures did nothing to protect her. Within the hour, Director Stone Who Stands had arranged a meeting in one of the conference rooms. Lily sat next to her father at a long table. Across from them sat Bracken, Whisper, and 3 other students who had been part of the harassment. Behind them stood Captain Reefwalker, Instructor Falls Like Rain, and several other academy officials. Bracken looked defiant, his forearms crossed. Whisper kept her eyes down, her crystalline surface dim. The others just looked nervous. Director Stone Who Stands spoke first. Commander Grant, these students have been accused of harassment and sabotage. However, Without concrete evidence, we are limited in what actions we can take. I hope you understand. Grant nodded slowly. I understand perfectly, Director. Tell me, what do you teach students here about Earth? The director seemed surprised by the question. We teach basic facts. Earth's location, its status as a death world, humanity's recent entry into galactic society. Bracken, Grant said, looking directly at the large Tolarian student. What do you know about Earth? Bracken shrugged. It is a low-gravity planet. Humans are weak. No natural weapons, no armor. You only joined the galactic community 15 years ago because other species felt sorry for you. Several of his friends nodded in agreement. Grant's expression did not change. I see. And based on this knowledge, you decided my daughter did not belong here. Humans do not belong here, Bracken said boldly. This academy is for strong species. You cannot handle the training. Today proved that. Today proved nothing, Grant replied. Except that you are cruel. But that is not your fault. You are ignorant. Let me educate you. He pulled out a datapad and placed it on the table. Let me tell you about Earth. Commander Grant tapped his datapad, and a holographic image appeared above the table. It showed Earth rotating slowly, blue and green and beautiful. White clouds swirled across its surface. This is Earth, Grant began. You call it a low-gravity world. You are correct. Compared to many planets in the galaxy, our gravity is lighter. But let me ask you something. Do you know what Earth's survival rate is for its own species? The students looked confused. Bracken shook his head. Throughout Earth's history, 99% of all species that ever lived have gone extinct, Grant said. Our planet kills its own children constantly. Ice ages that freeze continents. Volcanic eruptions that block out the sun for years. Earthquakes that reshape the land, storms that flatten entire forests, diseases that wipe out populations. He swiped the datapad, and new images appeared. Hurricane winds tearing through cities, tornadoes ripping buildings apart, floods drowning valleys, wildfires consuming forests. Earth tries to kill everything that lives on it, Grant continued, and humans survived anyway. Not because we are strong like you, Bracken. Not because we have telepathy like you, Whisper. We survived because we are stubborn, because we do not quit. Whisper's crystalline surface flickered. But humans have no natural advantages, no claws, no venom, no armor. You are right, Grant agreed. We do not have claws, so we made tools. We do not have venom, so we learned to make medicine and poison. We do not have armor, so we created shelters and clothing. Every weakness you see in humans we turned into a reason to adapt. He pulled up another image. This one showed an ancient human, barely clothed, running across a savanna under a burning sun. Do you know how ancient humans hunted? Grant asked. We chased our prey, not for minutes, not for hours, for days. We followed animals until they collapsed from exhaustion. We can sweat to cool our bodies. Most species cannot. We can carry water. We can eat while moving. We can run in the heat of the day when other predators must rest. We ran our prey to death. Captain Reefwalker leaned forward, interested despite himself. I have heard of this. Persistence hunting. But surely that is ancient history. The method is ancient, Grant acknowledged, but the capability remains. Last year, a human colonist on New Terra was separated from her group. She had no tools, no supplies. She was being tracked by a pack of razor wolves, predators twice her size with natural armor and venomous fangs. She ran. For 18 hours straight. The wolves gave up after 12 hours. She made it back to her colony. He swiped again and pulled up medical records. Humans can survive injuries that would kill most species. We have documented cases of humans surviving with massive trauma, lost limbs, punctured organs, severe burns. Our bodies fight to stay alive with incredible determination. Director Stonewhostands spoke up. Commander, I do not see what this has to do with the current situation. Yes, humans are resilient, but that does not excuse breaking Academy rules. I am getting to that, Director, Grant said. You see, there is one thing about humans that I have not mentioned yet. One trait that runs deeper than any other. He looked directly at Bracken. Humans protect their young, fiercely, without compromise. Throughout our history, the most dangerous thing you could ever do was threaten a human child. The room became very quiet. Grant continued, his voice calm but cold. On Earth, we have a saying, you can judge a society by how it treats its most vulnerable members. My daughter came to this academy trusting that she would be safe, that she would be protected. Instead, she was tortured, harassed, nearly killed. Now wait, Bracken started. But Grant held up a hand. I am not finished. You sabotaged her equipment. You mocked her. You invaded her privacy and destroyed her belongings. You used telepathy to assault her mind. You forced her into a dangerous challenge meant to humiliate her. And through all of this, the adults responsible for her safety did nothing. Instructor Falls Like Rain looked pained. Commander, we investigated every incident. Without witnesses or evidence, our hands were tied. I understand that, Grant said. I am not blaming you personally, Instructor. You seem to care about my daughter. But the system failed her. And when systems fail, parents step in. He stood up and walked around the table. Despite being smaller than most beings in the room, something about his presence made everyone pay attention. Let me tell you what I did when I received my daughter's messages, Grant said. I was 3 weeks away at normal travel speed. The Defiant was on patrol near the galactic border. I requested emergency leave. My captain approved it. Then I plotted a jump route that would normally take 6 days. I did it in 2. Captain Reefwalker's eyes widened. That is impossible. The faster-than-light calculations alone would take days. The stress on your ship's engines would be extreme, Grant agreed. We pushed the Defiant beyond its rated specifications. My engineering crew worked around the clock. We bypassed safety systems. We risked a core breach with every jump. Do you know why I took that risk, Captain? Because your daughter called for help, Reefwalker said quietly. Exactly. Grant turned back to Bracken. You asked why humans are here, why we were accepted into the galactic community. Let me show you something. He pulled up a new file on his datapad. It showed the specifications for the Defiant. Weapon systems, shield strength, engine capabilities. This is a Harbinger-class destroyer, Grant said. There are only 12 like it in the entire Terran fleet. Each one is capable of destroying a small moon. The weapons I have on my ship could turn this entire station into debris in under 10 minutes. Everyone in the room tensed. Several officials reached for their communication devices. Grant held up a hand. Relax. I am not threatening anyone. I am making a point. Humans have the military capability to be a major power in this galaxy. We could have joined the galactic community through conquest, through intimidation, through force. He paused. But we did not. Do you know why? Because we chose a different path. We chose cooperation. We chose to build relationships instead of taking territory. We chose to send our children to learn alongside your children. Director Stone, who stands, shifted in her seat. Commander, what exactly are you asking for? I am asking you to do your job, Grant said simply. Protect all of your students. Enforce your rules fairly. My daughter should never have been put in this position, and the students responsible should face consequences. Bracken stood up suddenly, his forearms spread wide. What do you want? To expel us? To have us arrested? We were just testing if humans were really as tough as everyone claims. Your daughter failed that test. Grant walked over until he was standing directly in front of the large Tellarian student. He had to look up to meet Bracken's eyes, but somehow Grant seemed like the bigger presence in the room. My daughter did not fail anything, Grant said quietly. She survived 3 weeks of constant harassment. She survived sabotage that could have killed her. She stood at the starting line of that endurance course knowing she would probably fail, and she tried anyway. That is not weakness, Bracken. That is courage. He stepped back and addressed the whole room. I am not asking for expulsion. I am not asking for arrests. I am asking that these students understand what they have done, and I am asking that it never happen again. Grant looked at Whisper. You used telepathy to attack my daughter's mind. Your species views telepathy as a gift. Humans view mental assault as one of the worst violations possible. You reached into my daughter's head and hurt her. Do you understand how serious that is? Whisper's light dimmed further. For the first time, she looked genuinely ashamed. I did not think. Humans cannot hear telepathy. I did not realize it would hurt her. Ignorance is not an excuse, Grant said, but it is a starting point for learning. All of you need to learn. He turned to Director Stone, who stands. I will be staying on this station for 3 days. In that time, I want new policies implemented. Anti-bullying measures that actually work. Consequences for sabotage. Protection for telepathic harassment. And I want these students to attend a mandatory seminar about Earth and human culture. The director hesitated, then nodded. That seems reasonable, Commander. I will begin implementing these changes immediately. Grant looked at Captain Reefwalker. Captain, I apologize for the way I arrived. I should have requested permission properly, but I hope you understand. When a parent receives messages like the ones my daughter sent, proper procedure becomes less important than immediate action. Reefwalker's expression softened. I am a father myself, Commander. I understand completely. Had our positions been reversed, I would have done the same. Thank you, Grant said. Then he turned back to the students. I want all of you to understand something. Humans hold grudges. We remember. What you did here will be recorded. Your names will be known. If any of you ever visit Earth, if you ever work with human companies or human governments, this incident will follow you. Bracken looked uncomfortable for the first time. You would blacklist U-Share artifacts, download all story outline document, MD. After Finn's apology, the other students began to shift uncomfortably. Grant waited, saying nothing, letting the silence stretch. Finally, another student stood. Then another. One by one, they apologized to Lily. Some seemed genuine, others just seemed scared. Bracken remained seated, his forearms crossed. Whisper stayed quiet, her crystalline body barely glowing. Grant looked at them both. Nothing to say? Bracken's jaw tightened. I do not apologize for testing someone's strength. That is what we do at this academy. We push each other to be better. There is a difference between pushing someone to improve and trying to break them, Grant replied. If you cannot see that difference, you have no business being in a leadership position. Leadership position? Director Stone, who stands, asked. Bracken is captain of the Academy's gravity ball team, Instructor Falls Like Rain explained. He is also a senior mentor to younger students. Grant raised an eyebrow. A mentor? Interesting. Tell me, Bracken, what have you been teaching the younger students? How to torture those weaker than themselves? Bracken stood up quickly, his face flushing darker. I am not a torturer. I was trying to prove that humans do not belong here. Your species is too weak for advanced training. My species, Grant said calmly, has survived on a planet that constantly tries to kill us. We have fought wars that lasted generations. We have overcome diseases, natural disasters, and near-extinction events. We have gone from primitive tools to faster-than-light travel in less than 10,000 years. And you think we are too weak? He pulled up another image on his datapad. This one showed a medical scan. This is a human heart. It beats about 60 to 100 times per minute when resting. When we exercise, it can beat over 200 times per minute. When we are scared or angry, our bodies flood with adrenaline. Our strength increases. Our pain tolerance increases. Our reaction time improves. It is called a fight-or-flight response. Grant looked around the room. Most species in the galaxy do not have this response. When you face danger, your bodies react rationally. Ours react with chemical warfare. We become stronger when threatened. He pulled up another image. This is a human brain scan during extreme stress. See these areas lighting up? That is our amygdala working with our prefrontal cortex. We can override our fear. We can force ourselves to run toward danger instead of away from it. It is how human firefighters run into burning buildings, how human soldiers charge into battle, how human parents face impossible odds to protect their children. Captain Reefwalker was studying the images with fascination. I had heard rumors of human stress responses, but I never realized the extent. Most species have not seen humans under real stress, Grant said. You have only seen us in peaceful situations. You have only seen us trying to fit in, to be diplomatic, to follow your rules. But push a human too far, threaten what they love, and you will see something different. He looked directly at Bracken. You pushed my daughter for 3 weeks. You tried to break her, but she kept standing up. That is human stubbornness. That is human resilience. And if you still think that is weakness, then you are a fool. Bracken's confidence was cracking. Everyone says humans are not special. That you only joined the galactic community because you found old technology. That without that technology, you would still be on your primitive planet. Who says this? Grant asked sharply. Bracken hesitated. It is just common talk. Lots of species believe it. Grant's expression grew cold. I see. So you did not hate my daughter because of anything she did. You hated her because of gossip and rumors. He turned to Director Stone, who stands. This is a bigger problem than I thought. If students across the galaxy believe humans are inferior, then every human student will face what my daughter faced. We need to fix this. The director nodded slowly. I agree, but changing attitudes takes time. Then we start now, Grant said. He activated his datapad again and pulled up a new set of files. I am transmitting educational materials to the Academy's database. Real information about Earth, human history, and human capabilities. I want this included in your cultural studies program. Consider it done, the director agreed. Grant looked at Whisper, who had remained silent throughout the entire conversation. What about you? Still think humans are weak? Whisper's crystalline surface flickered with different colors, showing her emotional turmoil. When she finally spoke, her voice was small. I am ashamed, she said quietly. My species values mental discipline and emotional control. What I did, using telepathy to hurt someone who could not defend herself, goes against everything I was taught. I let my friends influence me. I let my pride make me cruel. She looked at Lily. I am truly sorry. What I did was not just bullying, it was assault. I violated your mind. There is no excuse for that. Lily was quiet for a moment, then said, Thank you for apologizing. Grant nodded approvingly. That is a start. Now both of you need to prove you mean it. Words are easy. Actions are what matter. He turned to the rest of the room. I am going to spend the next 3 days here with my daughter. I want to see how this academy operates. I want to meet with other human students and hear their experiences. And I want to make sure the changes you promised actually happen, Director. Of course, Commander, Stone Who Stands replied. You have my full cooperation. The meeting ended, and people began to leave. As Bracken walked past Lily, he paused. Your father is scary, he muttered. My father is protective, Lily corrected. There is a difference. After everyone else had gone, Grant and Lily walked through the station together. He held her hand like she was still a small child, and she did not mind at all. Dad, she said quietly. You came so far. You took such big risks. What if something had happened to your ship? Then something would have happened, Grant replied. Lily, you are my daughter. Nothing in this galaxy is more important than that. Not my career, not my ship, not anything. They stopped at a viewing window. The Defiant hung in space nearby, dark and powerful against the stars. Is your ship really as dangerous as you said? Lily asked. Grant smiled slightly. Every word was true, but I would never use those weapons against a civilian station. I just needed them to understand that humans are not helpless. We choose peace, but we are capable of war. It is important that they know both sides. Over the next 3 days, Grant was everywhere. He attended classes with Lily, watching how teachers interacted with students. He ate in the cafeteria, sitting with different groups and asking questions. He met with the other 2 human students, Peter and a girl named Rachel, listening to their experiences. He also spent hours with academy officials, helping them design new anti-bullying policies. He showed them human psychological research about harassment and its effects. He explained how human children developed differently than many alien species, and how that required different protective approaches. On the second day, Grant gave a presentation to the entire academy. He stood in the main auditorium in front of 800 students and showed them what Earth really was. He showed them human cities, massive and complex. He showed them human art, music, and literature. He showed them human achievements in science, medicine, and engineering. He showed them human history, the good and the bad, holding nothing back. "We are not perfect," Grant told the assembly. "We have fought terrible wars. We have made horrible mistakes. We have hurt each other and hurt our planet. But we have also loved fiercely. We have helped each other through disasters. We have reached for the stars not because we wanted to conquer, but because we wanted to explore." He showed them a video of human rescue workers digging through rubble after an earthquake, working for days without rest to save trapped victims. He showed them human doctors volunteering in poor regions treating diseases for free. He showed them human teachers in remote areas, educating children who had nothing. "This is humanity," Grant said. "We protect the weak. We help those in need. We adopt animals that other species would consider pests, and we love them like family. We cry at sad movies. We laugh at silly jokes. We are not the strongest species or the smartest or the most advanced. But we care. Deeply. And that matters." When the presentation ended, the auditorium was silent. Then slowly, students began to applaud. Not everyone joined in, but many did. That evening, something unexpected happened. A group of students approached Lily in the cafeteria. They were not hostile. They were curious. "Is it true that humans keep animals in their homes?" one asked. "Yes," Lily replied. "We call them pets. Dogs, cats, birds, even reptiles." "Why?" another student asked. "What purpose do they serve?" "Companionship," Lily explained. "We love them. They make us happy." The students looked confused but intrigued. One of them, a small insect-like being, said, "My species does not understand love between different species. But your father's presentation showed it. He showed humans caring for injured animals. Feeding wild creatures, that is unusual." "Maybe," Lily agreed. "But it is who we are." More students gathered, asking questions about Earth, about human culture, about what it was like to grow up on a death world. For the first time since arriving at the academy, Lily felt like she was being seen as interesting rather than inferior. On the third day, Grant had one final meeting with Bracken and Whisper. This time it was just the four of them in a small conference room. "I am leaving tomorrow," Grant said. "Before I go, I want to know if anything has actually changed." Bracken looked down at his hands. All four of them. "I have been thinking about what you said, about the difference between testing someone and breaking them. I talked to my family back home. My father is a soldier. He told me about human soldiers he has worked with. He said they are some of the toughest beings he has ever met." "Tough in what way?" Grant asked. "Mentally," Bracken replied. "He said human soldiers never give up. Even when injured, even when outnumbered, they keep fighting. He said it is terrifying to fight against humans, but amazing to fight alongside them." Grant nodded. "War brings out extremes in people. I hope your generation never has to see real war. But yes, humans are stubborn in combat." Whisper spoke up. "I researched human psychology. I wanted to understand what my telepathic attacks actually did to Lily. I found studies about mental trauma. I did not realize how much damage I caused." "Telepathy is a powerful gift," Grant said. "With great power comes great responsibility. That is a human saying, but it applies to everyone." Grant looked at both students carefully. "Words are important, but I need to see action." "What are you going to do differently?" Bracken straightened up, all four of his arms resting on the table. "I am going to use my position as team captain to stop bullying. If I see anyone harassing someone weaker, I will intervene. And I want to formally apologize to Lily in front of the whole academy." "That is not necessary," Lily started to say, but Bracken shook his head. "Yes, it is," he insisted. "I bullied you publicly. I should apologize publicly. It is the right thing to do." Whisper's crystalline body shifted through several colors before settling on a soft blue. "I am going to petition my species council to create guidelines for telepathy use with non-telepathic species. What I did should be classified as assault. There should be consequences. Grant seemed satisfied. Good. Both of you are taking responsibility. That is more than I expected. He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the Defiant waited in the darkness of space. Tomorrow I have to leave. My ship has a mission to complete. But before I go, I need both of you to understand something very important. He turned back to face them. Lily is not weak. None of the humans at this academy are weak. But they are outnumbered and far from home. They do not have the natural advantages many of you have. That does not make them inferior. It makes them brave for being here at all. I understand that now, Bracken said quietly. Do you? Grant asked. Really? Because understanding is not the same as knowing. Let me tell you a story. He sat back down. 20 years ago, before I joined the military, I was a rescue worker on Earth. There was a major earthquake in a city called San Angeles. Buildings collapsed. Thousands of people were trapped in the rubble. I was part of a team that went in to find survivors. Grant's expression became distant, remembering. We worked for 6 days straight. Barely any sleep. Barely any food. We dug through concrete and steel with our bare hands when our equipment failed. We found a school that had collapsed. Inside were 30 children trapped in a pocket of space that was slowly filling with water. Lily had never heard this story before. She listened intently. The space was too small for adults to fit through, Grant continued. But there was one gap, barely big enough for a child. We needed someone to go in and help the trapped kids. I volunteered. Bracken's eyes widened. You crawled into a collapsing building. Yes, Grant said simply. Because those children needed help. The building was unstable. It could have collapsed completely at any moment. But I went in anyway. I spent 4 hours in that space, pulling children out one by one, passing them to the rescue team outside. Were you scared? Whisper asked softly. Terrified, Grant admitted. Every second I thought the building would come down on top of us. But fear does not matter when children are in danger. That is what humans do. We face our fear and we act anyway. He looked at Lily with pride. My daughter showed that same courage. She faced bullying every day. She faced sabotage. She stood at the starting line of an impossible challenge. She was scared, but she did it anyway. That is what makes her strong. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Bracken spoke. I wish I had understood this earlier. I wasted 3 weeks being cruel when I could have been learning. You can still learn, Grant said, starting now. The next morning, the entire academy gathered in the main auditorium. Director Stonewhostand stood at the podium and announced the new anti-bullying policies. She explained the consequences for harassment, sabotage, and misuse of telepathic abilities. She emphasized that every student, regardless of species, deserved respect and protection. Then Bracken took the stage. He looked nervous, which was unusual for the normally confident Tellarian. I want to apologize, he began, his voice carrying through the auditorium. 3 weeks ago, a human student arrived at this academy. Her name is Lily Grant. I treated her terribly. I mocked her. I challenged her to an unfair test. I led others in making her feel unwelcome. The auditorium was completely silent. I did this because I believed humans were weak, Bracken continued. I was wrong. Humans are not weak. They are different, and I confused different with inferior. That was my mistake, and I am sorry for it. He looked directly at Lily, who was sitting in the front row with her father. Lily, I'm sorry. You did not deserve any of what I did to you. You showed more courage in 3 weeks than I have shown in my entire life. I hope you can forgive me someday. Lily stood up. For a moment, everyone wondered what she would do. Then she walked up to the stage and extended her hand to Bracken. He looked at it, then carefully shook it with one of his 4 hands. The auditorium erupted in applause. Whisper went next, her crystalline form glowing softly on the stage. I also apologize. I used my telepathic abilities to hurt someone who could not defend herself. That was cruel and wrong. I am working with my species leaders to make sure this never happens again. Lily, I am truly sorry. After the assembly, Grant prepared to return to his ship. Lily walked with him to the docking bay, trying not to cry. I do not want you to go, she admitted. I know, sweetheart, Grant said, kneeling down to her eye level. But my ship needs me, and you need to stay here and finish what you started. You belong at this academy. You proved that, did I? Lily asked. I failed the endurance course. I could not even finish it. You did not fail, Grant said firmly. You survived. You kept getting up every time you fell. You faced impossible odds and you tried anyway. That is not failure. That is heroism. He pulled her into a hug. I am so proud of you. Your mother is proud of you. Your brother is proud of you. And everyone on the Defiant is proud of you. You are the bravest person I know. Lily hugged him back tightly. Thank you for coming. Thank you for everything. Always, Grant replied. Anytime you need me, I will come. That is what parents do. He stood up and straightened his uniform. Now I want you to promise me something. Do not let anyone make you feel small ever again. You are human. You are a Grant. You are strong. I promise, Lily whispered. Grant boarded his ship. Through the window, Lily watched as the Defiant detached from the station and slowly moved away. She stood there until the ship jumped to faster-than-light speed and disappeared in a flash of light. Behind her, someone cleared their throat. Lily turned to find Bracken standing there looking awkward. I wanted to ask you something, he said. The Gravity Ball team is holding tryouts next week. I know you have only been here a short time, but I was wondering if you might be interested. Lily blinked in surprise. Me play Gravity Ball? Why not? Bracken said with a small smile. It is not about strength. It is about strategy and teamwork. I think you would be good at it. Plus, we have never had a human player before. It would be interesting to see what different perspectives you could bring. Lily thought about it. A few weeks ago, she would have said no immediately. But something had changed. Her father had reminded her of who she was, what she was capable of. Okay, she said. I will try out. Bracken's smile grew wider. Good, I look forward to it. Over the following weeks, things at the academy changed. It was not perfect. Some students still avoided the human students. Some still whispered and made assumptions. But it was better. Lily made the Gravity Ball team. She was not the strongest player or the fastest, but she had good instincts and she worked well with others. More importantly, she proved that humans could compete. Other students started approaching the human students with genuine curiosity instead of mockery. They asked about Earth, about human culture, about what it was like to grow up on a death world. Study groups formed that included humans. Friendships began to develop. Whisper became an unexpected ally. She used her telepathic abilities to help Lily and other non-telepathic students understand what telepathic communication felt like. She taught them mental exercises to strengthen their minds. She had truly learned from her mistake. One evening, about 2 months after her father's visit, Lily was studying in the common area when Peter and Rachel joined her. They were the other 2 human students. We wanted to thank you, Peter said. After your father came, everything changed. Before we were all hiding, trying not to be noticed. Now we can actually be ourselves. Rachel share artifacts, download all story, outline document. MD. Rachel nodded. You stood up for all of us. Even when it was hard. Even when you were scared. That took guts. Lily felt her face get warm. I did not do it alone. My father helped. But you were the one facing it every day, Peter pointed out. Your father was not here for the 3 weeks of bullying. You survived that on your own. Lily thought about that. He was right. She had survived. Day after day, she had gotten up and kept going. That was her strength, not her father's. We are forming a human student association, Rachel explained. We want to help future human students who come here. Make sure they do not go through what we went through. Will you help? Of course, Lily agreed. That night, Lily sent a message to her father. The signal would take days to reach him, but she did not mind. Hi, Dad, things are good here. Really good. I made the Gravity Ball team. I have friends now. The Academy is implementing all the changes you suggested. I wanted you to know that what you did mattered. You showed everyone that humans are not weak, but more importantly, you showed me. Thank you for reminding me who I am. Thanks for reminding me I am human. That is enough. Love, Lily. She hit send and looked out her window at the stars. Somewhere out there, her father was protecting humanity's borders. But here she was doing something just as important. She was showing the galaxy what humans could be. Not the strongest, not the toughest, but persistent, stubborn, brave, kind, human, and that was more than enough. 3 days later, Lily received a reply from her father. It was a video message. Grant sat in his captain's chair on the Defiant, looking tired but happy. Hi, sweetheart. I got your message. I am so proud of you. I knew you would find your place there. You do not need me to remind you of your strength anymore. You know it yourself. That is what growing up means. Keep being brave. Keep being kind. Keep being you. The galaxy needs more humans like you. Love, Dad. Lily watched the message 3 times, smiling each time. The next morning, she went to class with her head held high. She sat with her friends, human and alien alike. She participated in discussions. She answered questions. She was not invisible anymore. In the hallway between classes, a small first-year student bumped into her. The student was a Feloran, a species covered in soft fur. She looked nervous and lost. "I am sorry," the small student squeaked. "I am new. I cannot find my next class." Lily smiled warmly. "It is okay. Where are you trying to go?" The student showed her the schedule. Lily recognized the classroom. "Come on," Lily said. "I will walk you there." "I am Lily, by the way." "I am Nora," the small student replied. "Thank you for helping me. Everyone here is so big and scary." Lily laughed. "I know exactly how you feel. But trust me, it gets better. And if anyone bothers you, you let me know. We protect each other here." As they walked together through the halls of Harmony Station, Lily realized something important. Her father had come from the sky to protect her. But now she was strong enough to protect others. That was the real lesson. That was what it meant to be human. Not that they needed protection, but that they gave it freely, fiercely, without hesitation. She had learned it from her father. And someday she would teach it to others. The galaxy was big and strange and sometimes scary, but humans had a place in it. Not because they were the strongest or the smartest, but because they cared, and caring, Lily had learned, was its own kind of strength.